Welcome back. Time now to get the views of our media and political experts, Metro Councilman at Large Jerry Maynard, and heard daily on 1510 WLAC, syndicated talk show host Steve Gill. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
See you again. Let's talk a little bit about State Representative Rick Womick this week, saying that all Muslims should be removed from the U.S. military. Obviously, that's not going to happen. It's his opinion. Did he go too far?
He went way too far. In fact, he's violating the constitutional rights of those brave men and women who want to serve our country. Listen, Muslims are those who practice any religion, whether they're Buddhist, Christian, or Jewish, should be able to serve our country and serve our country with pride. We should show them the dignity and respect. And I wish that this representative would not say that and do those things because it makes Tennessee look so bad.
Well, he's not violating anybody's constitutional amendment because his right to speak his mind and share his opinion is what he was doing, which he has a First Amendment right to do so. And he made a great point. I think if people actually listen to what he said, we have folks serving in the military like Major Malik Nidal Hassan, who did a PowerPoint presentation laying out himself why Muslims should not be required to kill other Muslims, why Muslims cannot serve in the U.S. military, or they will do what Major Malik Nidal Hassan did, jump on a chair, shout Allah Akbar, and kill 13 Americans. You've had another guy in the military who was arrested down in Texas with a bomb plot to kill other soldiers. What Rick Womick is raising is there is Sharia law under which Muslims are commanded to kill others. If they are adherent to Islam, if they are adherent to the Quran, they cannot be consistent with the Constitution. The challenge is, how do we determine those who believe in the Quran and those who don't? And I don't know how you figure it out.
Do you worry, though, that these kinds of comments, these kinds of issues cause retribution, retaliation against people who are just trying to follow their religion?
Not only that, but what happens is we're going to go to the Jewish people, the Christian people, the Buddhist people, and say, now, which one of you all are going to follow your religious covenants and things like that and not follow the Constitution of the United States? For example, there have been many Christians who have engaged in bad acts, whether they're in the military or not. Jewish people who committed bad acts. You cannot, with a broad brush, paint everyone in a bad way, and I disagree with Steve. I believe that every Muslim, until they're proven that they are not faithful and they are not loyal to the United States, should be able to serve faithfully with dignity from us.
Here's the challenge. Those Christians and Jews are not following the Bible and the Torah. In the Quran, it says what they are to do. There are not Christians who are acting badly. There are Christians who do bad things, but they are not acting badly going out and killing people in the name of Jesus. There are Muslims all over the world who are killing in the name of the Quran, and I would be a lot more excited if the people in Murfreesboro at the mosque there were as interested and as objectionable about the thousands of Christians that are being killed in Libya, in Egypt, in Nigeria, in Kenya, at the hands of Muslims who are following the Quran faithfully. And they're not objecting to that.
You raised the correct question, though. How do you determine who those folks are? These folks in Murfreesboro say that they are not, that they are peaceful Muslims just trying to express their faith.
We're all innocent until proven guilty of some crime. And so the American way is that when you come to the United States, regardless of your background, regardless of where you come from, your religion, you are an American. You're an American, and we may call ourselves Christians first, but the Constitution sees you as an American first. And so therefore, it does not make any difference what your religion is. Until you break the law, until you show yourself that you are unworthy to wear the uniform, you should be able to wear the uniform without representatives in the state of Tennessee making us look like a bunch of backwoods fools, in my opinion.
Anwar al-Awlaki was a peaceful, moderate Muslim until he started promoting actively the death of people following the Quran. Under the Quran, you were allowed to lie to the infidels, that would be all of us, in order to further killing us. And that's the problem, is it is a religion based upon lying to advance your cause. That is not what the Bible is about. That is not what Judaism is about. And again, I would point out that on 9/11, none of those people, except for maybe some visa violations, had done anything until they killed 3,000 people. I don't want to have to go back and do do-overs after we know the information after the fact.
Let me make this point. I served in the military for 20 years. Regardless of your religious background, as Steve says, with Sharia law, you take an oath once you put that uniform on. When you take that oath, it doesn't matter what your religion says. You take an oath to obey the Constitution, to uphold the Constitution. And until you break that, you should be able to serve in that capacity in the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines without anyone questioning your loyalty to this country.
Major Malik Nidal Hassan took that exact oath of
Other
office,
Christians have taken the oath too.
But they have not killed in the name of Jesus. They have not killed in the name of Jesus.
Killing is killing.
But they're not following a faith that says, do this. That's the problem. Either they need to say, I am not going to follow the Quran, I'm going to follow the Constitution, and they might be lying about it. How do you know that distinction?
So of the thousands of Muslims who have served, one person did a bad thing, horrible thing. You cannot kick everybody out because one person's bad decision.
Well, first of all, you had the same guy that threw his hand grenade in as we were going into the first Gulf War and killed his followers. You have the guy that was just caught down in Texas who was a soldier who was AWOL, who was plotting a bomb plot. We have a lot more than one example. And again, we only had 19 on 9/11. 3,000 were killed, and it could have been
Infiltration is the
30,000.
issue. You're going to have bad people commit bad
We
crimes.
weren't
This is
putting
the
Germans
problem.
and Nazis in the U.S. military in World War II. We weren't putting Japanese first generation in the U.S. military in World War II. We had a sense of common sense. It is a difficult issue, there is no doubt about it, but we've got to apply some common sense.
But we
when you
also
have
had
people who were
concentration
promoted.
camps
That's
for
correct,
Japanese
and we were on the wrong
Americans
side.
here that
Exactly.
we were on the wrong
We're on the
side
wrong
of,
side
too.
of history in that. I mean, that was not right to do. It was not right to say to a German, whether a German American, Japanese American, you are an American first, and that's how we must treat you. And once you take that oath to the United States military, until you break that oath, Bob, you should not have any question of your loyalty to this country.
But we're going to have to not be politically correct to the point of everything Major Malik Nadal Hassan was telling us. He was going to do what he did, and we ignored it. We promoted him after he was doing a PowerPoint presentation that laid out his unwillingness to follow the constitutional dictates. We're also telling people that we're not going to talk about what Islam is in the military because we want to be politically correct rather than honest and truthful. I think Rick Womick raising the truth ought to be something we embrace and herald, not condemn.
See, should you be held accountable for what somebody else does who's an American, who's a Christian? I don't think so. And no Muslim should be held accountable because of what another Muslim did.
Again,
every
there's the
individual
distinction.
every individual American should be held accountable to their actions, to their loyalty or disloyalty to the country. And until you prove that this particular Muslim is disloyal to this country or does not follow the Constitution, that then and only then can you say you need to be kicked out of the army.
Have you read the Hadith, the Quran, and the Sunnah
I
that
have
tells
read the
Muslims
Quran.
what they are to do? If they do what they are told to do, they will kill people. If Christians do what Jesus told to do, they're not going to
When
go
was the
kill
Quran
anybody.
written? Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, thousands of years
But
ago.
it is being adhered to today where Christians are being murdered in the name of Islam. Muslims are not being murdered today anywhere in the world because Jesus said so. That's the difference.
I believe, again, somebody takes an oath and they say, I will follow the Constitution, I will be loyal to this country, I will give my life for this country. And until they break that oath, until they show you any evidence or sign, the American way is that you are innocent until proven guilty and that you are an American first and you're a Christian second, a Jew second, a Muslim second.
30 seconds. Can we finish the topic on this one? Is this an issue that can be resolved in that there has to be some way, some kind of discersions of who is and who is not?
Until we do that, you'll have a witch hunt.
Right.
You'll be having a witch hunt.
I think what you have to have in the Muslim world is the effect of a Protestant Reformation where they decide we are not going to follow what Muhammad said. We are not going to do what Muhammad did. We're going to become a civilized religion. And until they do that, I think they're always going to be
Great
suspect.
discussion, guys. Steve Gill, Jerry Maynard, appreciate your time and your insight. Stay with us. This week continues in a moment.